So in this chapter, we are going to talk about the forms. As we planned last time, we will be talking about the forms, how to draw the controls in the Access front end, make the forms, code them, put the VB code, and then do the different tasks. Pull the information from the table, export them in the Excel, maybe. So there are so many things. So basically, when we talk about the forms, we generally, we are talking actually about the you can say the Access dashboards, because in Access, forms play very important role because of the two reasons. One is Access forms can also be created without VBA, unlike Excel VBA, unlike Excel, because in Excel you can't create the forms. You can't really have that functionality without the VBA. If you do not know the Excel VBA, you cannot make powerful forms. Absolutely not. You have to have a good knowledge of Excel VBA, right? That is a different thing, that in Excel VBA also we can create the combo boxes, the list boxes using the ActiveX and the form controls. But I'm talking about the pure functioning, from the dashboard perspective. But in Access, you can create the forms without VBA also, without the Access VBA also. But yes, obviously, there is no comparison between Access VBA and without the Access VBA, if you go and make the forms. What I'm trying to say is that in Access, form really plays a very important role, because you don't just have that kind of environment in Access, where you go and open some table and you start writing some formula. Like in Excel, you have the spreadsheet. So everything which we do in order to, whether we want to make some report, whether we want to connect some application, you want to export the information in the Excel, you want to run some queries, you want to run some macros, you want to do any sort of process, filter the data, sorting the data, making running the queries in the queries. Generally, this is all being done using the forms. Okay, so let's go and talk about it. Now, there's nothing new in creating the form controls. This is the same as we do in the Access front end, right? But still, I'll start from the scratch. So, but anyone who knows the Excel VBA forms, this is going to be a great help, because you'll find quite similar things here. So first we go to the create. If I have to create the query, I click on the query design. If I have to create the table, I go on click on the table design. Same way, you go and click on the form design if you want to create the form. So I go and create the form here. I click on the form, and that's how the form window comes, guys. This is your form window. Okay. So this is my form window, and this can be resized like this. You can see here, right? And if you want to see the view the form, you have to click on the form view. When you click on the form view, this is how the form window comes. Obviously, this form window looks totally blank, white, because we haven't inserted anything. But to go back to the form design view, you have to click on the view. Design view means this is for you when you want to design the things. So here in this design tab, you find here a lot of different controls. Like this is my text box, this is my label, this is my the button, the command button, this is my tab control. These are the different the controls, right? We will talk about all the important ones, and then rest of the the controls you can learn yourself. The technique remains the same. Okay. And in fact, I don't use all the controls in the Access. Most of the time I use the list boxes, combo boxes, labels, and then command buttons, and then the frames. This is the one, the option groups I use, right? And the text boxes I use. So these are enough to create any sort of the dashboard, a beautiful dashboard, powerful dashboard. So let us go and talk about this. The first thing which I will do is we will be talking about these controls. Let's quickly draw the controls. So this is my label. this is my label. I click on this label and I can draw this in this way, right? Just click there and drag this. Label means what? Label means that which is going to give you the information, which tells you about that what you actually going to see. For example, in this label, if you see this, if you go in the view, this is how the label looks like. Let me add something here first of all. I click here and at the same time I click on the text box, okay, and I create the text box here. Right now, once I created the text box, okay, you have this text 2 coming. Now, generally what happens when you draw any control, for example, I click on the text box. You see, when I create the text box here, you find that there is the label which automatically inserted. This label automatically inserts with the control, okay, so that way also is okay. Basically, this label is just to tell you the header information it gives. Now, when I select on this, you have to go to the property sheet. If the property sheet is not visible, you can click here, property sheet. Property sheet is a place where you can program the things, where you can give the coloring, the formatting to that control. Now, for example, when I select on the text 2, I find here that if I click on the on and this cursor is on the top, you find here that you have a name, you have a caption, visible, all that stuff, border style, special effects. So there are a lot of things, guys. You can go and, just practice on it. You can change the things and see how it is coming. They are not actually so important. It is all about the formatting part. But the main thing is, you should be knowing that how we can program it. Now, labels generally do not need any programming. Okay. So what I do is the name which is coming here by default, label 3, which VB has inserted, I will not change that because this is the name which will be used in the VBA program. Okay, since we don't have to do any programming inside this label, I will not change the name. Caption is a option where you write something and that you get displayed to the user. Okay, this is something we write it for the user. Now, for example, I want to write here first name. So you just go and write here first name. This is how. The moment you click outside, you can see here this first name is coming, right? You can also go and select this and you can directly also write something here. Let's say I write here last name. The moment I click outside, now what will happen when I click here, you can see that its caption is changed. So whether you do the changes from the caption or you do the changes from the control, it is all up to you. Okay. In fact, you can also go and see all the things from here as well. You can see this is my label 3. If I select the label 3, the label 3 gets selected. If I select the label 5, you see that the label 5 is selected with the last name. So these are all the control names. If you want to do programming on the form level, you can click on the form, right? This is a form. This is how the form comes. If you go and click on the text 2, you see that this is how the text 2 comes. So text 2 name is there and text 2 label name is also there, right? So I want to program this, not a text 2, but I want to write here txt first name, right? I'll tell you why I'm changing the name, okay? Label name is not required, that's okay. Then you go and just select the text 4. So this is selected, you can see, and you can give it a name called txt last name. Now, first of all, why I'm giving the names, and the second is why I'm starting with the txt. Why I'm giving these text boxes a specific name, because this is going to help me in the VBA. Because if I insert 10 text boxes, by default, Access VBA will give them the name text box 1, text box 2, text box 3, and it will be very difficult for us to to identify that which text boxes are doing what. Right, for which particular information we are using these text boxes. This is the problem. That is why we give them the name, right? So anyways, when we will go and make the program, you'll understand it. But guys, you can see here also, now you don't have here txt text box 1, text box 2, text box 3. You know that which particular control you're talking about, isn't it? Now, for example, label 3. Do you know label 3 is for what? unless you click here, you cannot judge. It's difficult, right? So that's why label 3, we haven't given it a name here. You want to give it a name, you can, but why not giving them the name? Because this will remain there as it is. I mean, I just want to use this for the information. We will not program it. Generally, labels are not programmed, okay? So this is how you go and use the name and the caption, depending what you want to do. In the caption, what you write, you show that to the user. In the name, what you write, that becomes the name to that control. And this is for the developers. They can use it. Now, if I go and click on the form view, this is how the form would come. You can see here, I have my last name and the first name and the last name text box is created with proper information coming there. Okay. So this is how it is. Click on the view. This is how it is. Okay. So this label I was creating before, if you remember, I picked up the label separately. So when you pick the text box also, so for example, if I select this text box, by default, you will have the name associated with that, right? So there's no need to create any separate label. Getting a point, right? But however, you have here the option, this option is there, label. If I click on this, I just go and display here, I can write something here. This is also okay. This label, basically, this has nothing to do with any text box, right? This is coming here as a label 1, you can see, and this also has a caption. So just a method, I mean, nothing really important in that. You can just go and you see the text boxes here. Okay, I'll just go and delete this. I don't need it. So select this and delete it. That's how it is gone, right? And moreover, guys, now let's say we don't need this text 7. We don't need this. So either you can select this and delete, and then you can select this and delete, or there's another way. What you do is, like we drag in the Excel, we right click on the mouse, or if you're using the laptop, you press the keypad. So when you press the keypad, just go and, drag this. Both the controls will be selected. Now press delete. All are okay. So this particular, so I go and write here, and this is label, right? Now, if you select the text box, and you go to the property sheet, you can also press F4. Or maybe Alt Enter. I think they are saying Alt Enter. Alt Enter. See, I'm pressing Alt Enter. I press Alt Enter, it is gone. I press again Alt Enter, it comes back. Okay. So I want to try this with the F4. Let me just go and close this. Let me press F4. Yeah, F4 is also working. Now, why I'm telling you F4? Because in Excel VBA, F4 is the shortcut to go to the property sheet of these controls. Okay, so that is how it is. Anyways, you can press Alt Enter as well. Now, guys, I want to tell you something. If you click on this, the text box, okay, there's no caption option coming here, right? We don't have the caption option. Why? Because text boxes are not there to display the information. They are there to take the input from you. So don't think that every control will have the captions. Captions are given to those controls which are used to display the information. That is why the labels are those controls, are those form controls which we use to display the information. This is how it is. Okay. Now, similarly, we have the other controls as well. Like you see that, let's talk about this button. This is your command button. I click here. I insert this here. Now, when you draw this pop-up comes. And this is something which you use in the Access front end. These are some by default functionalities which are given to you, which you can link with the command button, and you don't need the VBA, right? So I'll cancel this because we have to make some program. I'll not use the ready-made options available, right? And moreover, obviously, these are the limited, very few options available. So you can fully exploit now the, these controls. You can get any sort of work done using these the VBA program. So we don't need these the by default macros or the options, all that available there. So I cancel that. That pop-up always appears whenever you draw this command button. What is a command button? Command button is a the button which user press and then your macro fires, your program runs. So this is generally we use as a submit button. Okay, I mean submit, click whatever you want to write. Right now I'm writing here submit, but as I said that you can also, when you select this submit, you go to the property sheet. You can also write here the name of the caption which you want to display. Right. So both ways it's okay. Name, command 10. I don't know what is it. Better we should give it a name called CMD submit. Now, I forgot to cover the second point where I was telling you that why I write the TXT, or in the case of the command, why I write CMD. Is it important? No, it is not important actually. I mean, it is important in the sense that it will make your life very easy when you work with the VBA, because if you have created, let's say, 6 text boxes and you have given the name, first name, last name, age, status, and there are blah blah things there. Now, I will not be able to remember those control names, that what name, actually specific name I had given. So I have to come back to the form design view to look at those individual controls one by one. But if I create them, if I start them with txt, then what will happen when I will go and write the program, I'll just press txt, and in the txt, all the forms, all my controls with the starts with the txt will appear. txtf name, txtl name, txt age, and so on, right? That is the idea. So that we don't really have to struggle here to remember the names. That's why every control I start with their, first 3 initials. That is a best practice. So if it is a combo, you write CMB. If it is a list box, maybe you can write LST and then give the name of the, whatever the name you want to give. That is how it is. So I have given it a name called CMD. Okay. So this is how now when you go to the view option, the form looks like, guys. You can see here. Right now we have not written any program here, but this can do a lot of stuff. This can run the query. This can import, export the data from Access to Access, from Access to Excel, from Excel to Access, from Access, another Access to this Access. I mean, whatever you want to do, we will be going to do that. So this is how the form gets created. Okay. Now, if I have to give this, let's say, sort of a color, generally I'm not a really color savvy. I don't use these colors. I don't like these colors. So I just keep the basic form. But you should be knowing if you have to do something, maybe you have the access forms here, just increase the width of this. You can see here, they have some back color, the border style, the border width. So there are a lot of things. For example, I increase the border width. You can see here the border width is increased. If you go to the view, you can see that this is the border width. So that is why I said that this is more of a topic, which you can go and check one by one after doing all these things. Okay. So cursor on hover. So when you hover, what do you want to do? Let's say I want to create a hand sign. Okay. So I create this hand sign. This option, I like it. And then you go to the view option, you click on the form view. And now you see that this when I hover, when I'm ready to click here, this icon comes. And this generally, you find it, when you create these hyperlinks in the Excel also, right? So, I mean, these are all the different options. You can give it a try. Okay. Okay. Now, so same way, so there are other things as well. Like you see that the hover color, the border color, and the pressed color. So when I press on that, which color I want, for example, I want to say access theme 3. I don't know which color is it, but it says that when I press here, you see that this is the color. Can you see that the color is changing, it's becoming a little white. So, I mean, you can try all these options. This is all about the formatting part. So this is your command button. Now, same way, you can go and use the very important, the other controls as well. For example, let me talk about this where we have the combo box, which I use it a lot. This is your combo box. So I click here and I draw this here. Now, why we use the combo box? This is something you need to understand. So when you draw the combo box, this gives you this pop-up. Now, again, this is a wizard which we guys use in the Access. Okay, where you want to reflect something, some information I want to you put it there. Right now, I will not get into that. Okay, this we cover in the Access front part training. I go and cancel this. Now that's how your form looks like. The combo box look like. It also has this, the label coming with this. So maybe we can do one thing. We can just move it here. That's all. Okay. I go and select this and I go and increase the width of this combo box. So why we use the combo box? We use the combo box to display the drop down. If I click on this view, you can click here and your drop down would come. So you can show here different items, right? Different items. And user can choose that. For example, you want to say that you're making some school dashboard and you want to write there that which particular subjects you are, which particular subject you want to go for, physics, chemistry, English, any language, Excel, VBA, Access, VBA, right? So you can show that there. This is how it is. Okay. And obviously, when you select this, you go to the property sheet. This comes as combo 11. I go and give it a name called maybe CMB. Let's say CMB subject. This is my name. I want to give it, right? Then I go and click on the combo 11. This is my label. You can see here, name. Would you like to give it a name? No, because I don't want to program it. I simply go and change the name. So I write here, choose subject. This is how it is. So please increase the width of this. So now, similarly, we have a list box also available here. When you click here, you'll find here another control, okay, which is the list box. This is also very important. So we will learn this as well. So I click here and if I just go and draw it, this is how the list box comes, right? Again, this is also, the wizard comes where you can go and make a kind of a select query or you can type in your own values, right? But anyways, I'll not go into that. Okay. This is not we will make these, the controls, we will program them. So we'll not talk about the front part. Okay. So this is your list box. And as usual, you have here header also. I go and just increase the width of this. So you can write here, choose subject. I'm writing the same thing. Okay. And this is your list box. So you can see here, it comes with LIST 13, right? So obviously you give it a name called LST. This is what I prefer, subjects, right? Right now, there's no point. I mean, I'm just trying to walk you through all these basics, but when we will start making some project, then I'm gonna quickly go and use them. I'll not repeat this information again. Now, many people, they ask, when you click on the form view, this is how this list box looks like. Now, people often ask this question also in your interviews, what is the difference between a combo box and a list box? So from the functionality perspective also, they are quite different. And from the look factor, if you see this, they look very different, isn't it? Now in the combo box right now, I don't have any value here. Okay, but this is how it looks like. Now just to give you that feel, let me quickly go and make a very small query. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, as you know, we can link these combo boxes and the list boxes. Okay, if you do not know, then again, let me quickly go and show you. When you click on this form, I was focusing on the two parts, which is name and label name, and we were going in the all, where you have all these things coming, back style, back color, there are so many things, border style, right? So if you want to change the dash, you want to make it dashes, you can make the dashes as well. Look at this, how it is going to look like. You can see that dashes are coming, right? So that's why I said that, guys, I don't do all these formatting things, right? I keep my form very plain and simple, but you go and try all these options one by one. Okay, I keep it simple, solid. Now, there are other options as well. Now, if you want to do the formatting, instead of going in the all, you can specifically go on the format tab and you can see all these things. Okay, back color, border style, border width, border color, special effect, everything is there. If you want to go to the data, now what is in the data actually? Now in the data, you have here option called control source and the row source and the row source type. Well, basically these are the important items. Rest generally we don't even touch it. Okay. Then you have the events as well. Events means that you want to do something, when you click on this combo box, or maybe before update, after update, if you have an update going on in your combo box, that means if you have selected A item and now you're going to select the B item, so A is going to be replaced by B, then would you like to run some macro? This is that event. We had I gave you a little bit idea also in the when we write the 2CMD commands. If you remember, we used the on click event, right? So on click event is something we used it. So same way, these are all the different events. We will be talking about that, right? The important ones. So what do you want to do if some change happens? What do you want to do if you double click? What do you want to do if you press enter, on, exit? There are a lot of events here, right? So right now I'm interested in what? I'm interested in the data. Okay, I go here in the row source. What is a row source means? Row source means that this combo box which you are displaying, what is the source of information? From where it is going to come? Obviously, combo box, if you are using, you will display something, right? So for the time being, let's pick up any table. I'm going to link it. So let's say I want to show you maybe these people name. Let's say first name. I want to show the first name from the employee database. So how will you do that? You go in the row source, you click on this button. Again, I'm repeating, this is not the Access VBA step. This is, you should know this in the Access front end. But again, I'm telling you, right? So I go in the row source and I click on this button. And when you click on this button, a wizard will come. A query wizard will come. And this will be going to show all the tables. I go and select the employee database. So I'm just making a query, okay? In that query, I go and use this first name. I click on the view and you can see that the query is running. When you click on the view, that shows you the output of the query. So you have all the options coming here. Now, when you have all these options coming here, you go and click on the design view, right? To make sure that this is really working. And now I go and close this. Would you like to see the changes? Yes. So what is happening? The output of this query, which is the first name, this will start popping up in the combo box. Why? Because you have made this query in the row source of this control. You can see here, once you have made the query, a proper SQL syntax is coming. Select query is coming. We talked about this in our last sessions, isn't it? Select employee database dot first name from employee database. Now, somebody who knows the SQL pretty well, you don't have to go here. You can simply also directly write this, or you can also edit this as well. I mean, you can directly write in the row source as well, provided you take care of all the punctuations. You can see here, this has a semicolon at the end, and then, it is followed by the table name dot field name, right? So anyways, a table name is not important because you can also write select first F underscore name from employee database. Now, this is coming in the row source, okay? We don't have to do anything. Now, I simply go and click on the view, and I want to look now how the form is going to look like. This is how your form is now going to look like, right? So in the combo box, I can choose any of these names, right? And you can see that I can choose added in one item. That's how the combo box looks like. Combo box also takes little it takes lesser space than the list box, because if the same thing I have to do in the list box, how I'm gonna do it? See this. Let's quickly go to the list box. I select the list box. You have here the property sheet of the list box. It's coming here, right? This I always make sure that when I select the control, I not go blindly in the property sheet and start writing the things there. No, because sometimes what happens, like when you're too much tied up with the other things, maybe you forgot to select this. Maybe you have selected here. For example, you selected this, but you tried to select this, but you selected this by mistake. And now here you are looking that item. Where is that item coming? As a beginner, this will happen, right? So please make sure what basically sort of thing you have selected. Maybe you have selected this and you're looking for the list box, right? Right now, obviously, I can't do this mistake because there is a huge difference between the positions. One is on the extreme side, right side, and this is on the left side, right? But sometimes, guys, it happens, right? When you create these the controls with not having that much of the space, your selection may go wrong. So make sure you have the proper selection, or better you select from here also. This is all up to you. You have the LST subject is coming. This is my list box, So I go here and again I click on the data and now I click on the row source, right? So in the row source now, what I want to do, I can write here my query as well. Select, and then what do you want to do? You want to select the first name from, employee database table. So I go and write here as database. Okay. I click outside. I'm not putting any semicolon at the end. Let me see that if it is going to work or not. So this is what I have written. Now I go and click on the view. Okay, so there is some problem coming. It is saying enter parameter value. Now, why this prompt came? This I mentioned in the yesterday's session also. This generally comes when, you are trying to put some criteria, but that criteria, it's not there. It's not available, right? So I think, and you can see here, the form also, the control also, list box control also looks totally blank. So I go back to the design view. Now, what I'm going to do is, I click here. I think the problem is either with the header, because I am pretty much sure that the table name is correct. So let's go and check that. And by the way, you see that the semicolon is automatically inserted. And I think the first name was F_name. Let me go and check that. Yeah, it is F_name. So that was the problem, right? So we go and write here F_name. And now I go and click on the view. And there we go. You can see here, guys, you have all the list box coming here, right? All the names. So this is the difference between the list box and the combo box. Now, it can be a matter of choice or it cannot be, right? For example, if you have a long list means you have maybe 100, 400 items. You prefer avoiding that much of the space. Of course, I mean, you don't have to show all the items in the list box in one go. I mean, like in this case, there are so many names, but you don't have to increase the height of it. You can keep that short as well, because the scroll bar will automatically appear and user can, scroll from here. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. So if you have 200 items, you can still manage with this kind of a height of this, with this size of the list box, because scroll bars are there. But sometimes people generally also avoid it. Instead of showing that, why don't we just go and create a simple combo box, because combo box won't take much space, right? So as I said that it's sometimes a matter of choice. Sometimes it is not in the sense. Now, what if I say you have to, when you are making some program, maybe two of the people, right now I have given here the names, but let's imagine these are the subjects. Maybe people can choose 3 subjects, but in the combo box, you can't do that, This is only for one item. But what if I have to select the multiple items in the list box? Right now, even my list box selects one item, right? But you can make this functionality in the list box that you can go and select multiple items. So let's go and talk about that. So you go to the design view. When you select the list box, okay, first you decide the size of the list box. making sure that the width should also, properly is able to uh, reflect all the names coming properly. Sometimes we have a long name, so make sure you give the width and the height properly. Okay. Now when you select the list box here, now in this list box we have an option which can let us know about the selection property. I click on the all, okay, and I scroll down. Somewhere here we have that option. Look at this. Multi-select. It says none right now. You have the two options, simple and extended. Okay, I click on the simple to show you how it is going to look like. This you can also program. You can also write in the VBA also that this form multi-select, the property has to be simple. But right now I'm just selecting the simple from here. I go and click on the view form view. Now you can see here, guys, I select this and I want to select one more item. I'm pressing the control key. Can you see that? Control key is not a new thing for you. If you use the Excel, right? Control is to use the multiple selection. So you can see that with my control key pressed, I can select now multiple items. By default, this option never remains. This is always on the none, right? Now the point is, what if I have to select Robin, Sudhakar, Mandy, Rima, Test, Leo, and all the items, right? Now, in this particular case, every time you click, you select the multiple items. But this is a long way to select all the items. It's taking time, right? You don't even have to press the control key. I just observe. You just keep on clicking. You just keep on clicking like this and it is going to select. And if you click back, this will go off. Now, what to do with this? If you have to select all the items in one step, because if you have 50 items, you won't click 50 times. No doubt, it is selecting the multiple items, but that's going to take a lot of time. So I go and say that it is not simple, it is extended, right? One-time change. Let's go to the view now, form view. Let's go and check that. I click here and now what I do is I go to the last one and I now press the shift key and I click here. You can see that all are selected. So I use the same technique we use in Excel, shift key. Now what if, let's say I want to select only Robin and Mandy? Then obviously you can't select the shift key because if I press shift and I click on the Mandy, Sudhakar will also be selected. This is the job of the shift key, But if I have to select Robin and Mandy, I can press the control key now. Let me press the control key. So guys, in the extended, what is happening? Two things are working. The shift key and the control key. If I select this and without selecting any shift or control key, I click on the Mandy. You see, Robin will not be selected. So this is something which you won't find in the previous option we were using. There it was with just a click, I was able to select all the items. So if I select Robin and I click on the Mandy, Robin is also selected, Mandy is also selected. But when you make this, so that was the type called simple, right? Simple was the category, multi-select simple. Now I'm using the extended one. So in the extended, you can't simply go and keep on clicking. You won't be able to do that. Okay, so please press Control if you have to do the random selections. If you have to do the multiple selections, select that, press Shift, and now click on the new. You see that, right? So these are all the things, guys. This is, I'm telling you now, right? I'm just trying to give you the idea. But going forward, when we are going to make the projects, we are going to use them. Okay. Now, the last thing which I want to, so there are other items as well. For example, you go to the design view. You have here, you can see here, this is one of the one which sometime I prefer using it. Okay, so this is your option group. Option group, I generally don't use it. Instead of that, I use this option button. So you can click on the option button also. You can see here, these are the option buttons coming. So when you So when you go to the option property sheet here, I'm not going to give it a name OPT or something right now. Don't do that. Simply go to the label and give it a name. Let's say I say that are you graduate, right? Or maybe I can simply say that graduate. And similarly, you can create one more option button. So you can copy this and paste this as well. So Control C and Control V is also applicable. You can create the same copies again and again instead of going here and drawing them. So if you have 10 text boxes, I don't click on the text boxes 10 times. I create the first my text box without going and giving it any name. First, I simply Control C and Control V 10 times. I have my 10 text boxes created, and then I go and start giving them the name, right? So this is my option 15 because the copy is created, but you can see it has a different name. It is option 17 and it has a different name, right? If you go and select this, right? This is the caption option 15, right? So in the caption option 15, what I will write graduate. Okay. Now you can see that this is how it looks like, graduate. So people can select this option, and on this option button, I go and select this, let's say undergraduate. That is how it is. I'm not going to change the label right now. Okay. So I go and one more thing, I just realized, now I don't know how it is coming. You can see here, guys, I'm writing this undergrad, but the point is, you can see in the property sheet what is selected. And this is what exactly I was talking about. I do selected the option, but somehow it is giving me the label 18 option. It is not going to work on the option. It is actually going to work on the label 18 now. First of all, how the label 18 is coming, that's something I want to check. So I click here. Now this is actually not my option button. This is not the option button, right? This is my option button. Can you see that? Are you trying to see the difference? If I click on this round button, my option button gets selected, and now I can have my option 17 coming, right? If I select this particular portion, let me click outside first, and I click here. You see that this is the label coming. This label is associated with this option button, right? So this has the label. Obviously label would come with the option button, because otherwise how user would come to know which option he has to select, So please, that's what I'm saying. In the access forms, whenever you do anything, make sure you're on the right platform, right? Again, I click outside. If I have to give some name to my option, I go and select the option, and the option 17 comes, and I go and give it a name. So I give it a name called OPT, let's say non-graduate, whatever. Let's say this is the name I have given it, okay? You can give the label name from here also if you want, instead of selecting this. So let's say I write here non-graduate or undergraduate. I click outside, right? A label with that name does not exist. So this is not working. Let me just undo it. Let me press escape. Let me click here outside, and then let me click here. Now I'm going to give it my name, which is undergraduate. And I click outside. Now this is how it counts, right? So these are the very minor things which can give you a lot of problem, right? But I hope now with this kind of training, you won't be able to find any difficulty. So now we can have a look on the option button. You can see here, I'm a graduate. Yes, I'm an undergraduate. So that is also there. So both the options basically are there, right? You can select whatever option you want to select. And in fact, both the option buttons are also selected, right? So this is something you can program. You can take care of the things like both the options should not be selected. I mean, this all depends. Now there is one more option. There is one more control, which is this is the one, option group. I click here and I click here and I just draw it like this, right? So when you draw this says an option group contains set of the option buttons, check boxes or toggle buttons. You can choose only one option. Now, in this particular case, where when you inserted the option buttons, you were able to select multiple option buttons. But here they say that you can choose only one option. So if you want to have a one option, you can do that. So what is the labeling, by the way, you want to give? I see that graduate, undergraduate, or let's say, matriculation. Next. Okay. Do you want one option to be the default option? Right? So this is the default option. Would you like to give some? No, I don't want. Don't want to show anything by default. Okay, click on the next. Now you can see here what value do you want to assign to each option. Remember these values. We will be talking about all this, but Access is trying to tell you that these are the values which I'm going to give to my option buttons. 1, 2, 3. You can see in the order if you want. That's okay, right? I click on the next because this is something we are going to use it in the programming. Would you like to create the checkboxes? So you can create the checkboxes as well, guys. If you create the checkboxes, you see that this is how the sample is going to look like. If you create the option, that's how the option is going to look like, right? So that is how. If you create the toggle, this is all the toggle buttons, right? So very interesting things are here. Style also is there. Right now, style is there. Shadow, you want to make the shadow. You can see the shadow is coming. I use this sometimes, the shadow one. You can use the raise. This is also something very nice. You can use the flat. I mean, there are a lot of things. I use the shadow. I click on the next. And now, what caption do you want to give, to this option group? Obviously, you can't show here frame 19, right? It looks very absurd. What the user should see here. User should not see the frame 19. User should see something like, please fill this option. Okay, maybe. Click on the finish. Now, when you click on the finish, you have the box created. Looks great to me. That is how. So you can see, I can't select all the options here. Here I can. So this is the difference. And this difference I learned just a few months back, actually. Okay. So, that's what I'm saying. You have so many controls here. Every control does a different job. But if you know the basics, if you know what is a property sheet, what is the name, what is the caption, how and where, what are the events, how you can program the things, everything remains. It looks very easy. So this is the option group. A good option, we will definitely go and use it. Now, this is a separate individual option button, which we created here, right? Now, similarly, you have the checkboxes also available. You can create the checkboxes also, though it was available in the group option also. If you remember, they were asking us for the change. So I go and draw this. That's what it looks like. I simply Control C and Control V. So this is going on the top. I have to move this, and I'm just going to put it here. I will not give this any caption right now. Okay, that's okay. Let's have a look how it looks like. So this is your checkboxes. You can see here. Uncheck, check. That's how it looks like. You can see, right? So I can select the checkbox. I can select the checkbox as well. If you want to make sure you select only one checkbox, then please go and use this particular option. I think this is much better. Okay, but you never know. Maybe you want to say that what are your favorite subjects? You want to give the option. Now, favorite subject can't just be one. You can't be that monopolistic, So go and create the separate individuals. You have a choice. One more thing I wanted to show you, which one of my favorite, the tab control. So I simply go and increase the size of this form. Let's go and okay, now see this. I go and click on this, the tab control. You can see that how it looks like page 33, page 34, right? This is the tab control, the property sheet. And if you go to the all here, this is the name which you can obviously go and rename. If you select this particular option, this option, this looks like this page 33. So you can give it a caption here. Now, first of all, I want to show you how it looks like. Go to the form view. Now, this is, sometime I use this also. You can show up a form here. You can show up a form here as well. So two forms can be shown in this window, right? Let's quickly see this, and then we will wrap it up. I go here. I select first of all the page 33. I click here. The page 33 gets selected of this, control, and I give it a name called, let's say, my school dashboard. This is my school form. Okay, let's say. Of course, you will give it a good name also. And then you go and click here. You can see school form is converted. It's coming in the page 34. Then you go and write here login form. Right? So now when you click outside, that's how the form looks like, right? So obviously you can go and increase the height of this. And now you can go and create the fonts here. So for example, let me show you. I create a text box. I'm on the school form, remember. So this is my text box, okay? I go in the login form. I want to create here something else. Maybe one more information, right? Who knows? So maybe let's say I want to create here the combo box. So this is my combo box, right? And same way, let's go and create one more text box here. Right? That's how the text box looks like. Now let's go to the view guy, click on the view. And now I'm going to show you this. So when you click on the school form, this is where you can program a separate form. When you click on the login form, this is a separate one. So you can create here different multi-forms. And let's say, before you ask me this thing, I want to answer this. So what if I want to create one more form? Right click here and say that insert page, delete page. Page order also you can give. You can move them, right? I say I don't want to delete it. I say insert page. You can see here the page is inserted. Now go there and click on the caption. So in the caption, let's say I want to write here basic form. That's how, guys. This is how it, shows here. That's how, right? If I right click here and I see that what is my page order, I never use this option. So this is the page order is coming. Move up, move down. I used it, I think, somewhere. Yeah. So this is, you can change the order as well, right? That's how it looks like, guys. So we are going to talk about these forms in detail, right? So let's wrap up for the day. Do you have any sort of question? I hope I was able to clear on this. I was able to give you the proper download on this. Any questions left? Okay. So let me save the form, and I write here learning. Alright guys, so let us meet in the next chapter and let us talk more about the forms. I hope you had a great fun today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you now. Bye-bye.